What is good, everybody? Juliana Page here, and I had this thought today that just hit me, and I feel like this could be a breakthrough moment for some of y'all, so I had to come on here and share. So here's the thing. I am somebody who loves character development. I used to call it maybe self-help or personal development, but now I call it character development because I'm a big believer of we're going from strength to strength and from glory to glory on this God journey. Okay. If you're a believer, that's what God is doing. He's taking you from glory to glory and from strength to strength, meaning this isn't something where you need to be someone different than who you are, or you need to be better than who you are, or your life is going to start when suddenly you become a certain kind of person, which can be a trap, right? This can be self-help. All of that whole industry can be an addiction just like anything else. So I'm a believer in growth, a growth mindset, character development, not necessarily self-improvement, self-help, those things, because if we're real, we all need help, right? But I believe where you go as the source of your help, that's a big difference. So I'm clear where I run and where my secret place is, but I wanted to share, I was listening to, because I'm on this character development journey, I love listening, feeding my mind. I love listening to podcasts of people that inspire me, that are similar in their passion and inspiration to evolve. I love reading and actually having a book in my hand and highlighting and writing and all of that. So I love learning and challenging my mind, challenging my perspectives, and rooting that in truth and testing it. Right? Test everything that we receive, right? That we're exposed to know the quality of it, to know the value of it, to know if it's true or not, right? So I am constantly in the habit of that because I'm not a fan of just taking things as they are or just taking something as truth. Nope, not gonna have it. So I'm on a run listening to a podcast, and it happens to be two people, and I'm listening to their journey, and they're both wildly successful. And they're having this conversation on, it was interesting. They were talking about what they're bad at, not in a negative way, but things that they struggle with. They were really having this conversation about what they've struggled with or different parts of their journey where they're really leaning in and learning a lot of things. And then the guy asked this woman what it is that she believes she's great at. And she couldn't answer that question. She paused and she's like, working hard. Like, she couldn't come up with that. And so I paused for a second and I'm like, wow, here's two wildly successful people in terms of worldly success, yet both of them to some degree can't even answer what they're good at. So my takeaway from this, and I've actually struggled with this too, these little dips of not feeling sorry for yourself, but somewhat of discouragement or depression because it wasn't enough, or you weren't enough, or you didn't deliver to the degree or the standard that you hold for yourself. And so it seems when you are a creator, when you are an influencer, when you're somebody that aspires for more, that really does the internal work to kind of get out of the way so that God can flow through you, there can be these moments of depression. And I know that I've struggled with that, and this has been hard. And I'm saying depression not as a diagnosis, but as a really deep emotional state that's hard to get out of sometimes. And usually it's after a lot of exertion or a performance of some kind or an achievement of some kind. Usually there can be this like depressive hit after that. So it was just interesting listening to this because this gentleman happens to interview several, just tons without number really, of successful people. And they have this story. They have this story of working really, really, really hard, but feeling unfulfilled or coming into these dips of depression. And this woman was no different. And so as I was listening, I think it's something that many of us struggle with and many of us battle with, and maybe we don't voice it. And I don't think it's something we should beat ourselves up for either. So as I was running and listening to this, I really walked away with this new revelation. And the revelation is this: your life is now. Your life is now. So and Tony Robbins actually says this. He says success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And so I believe what we are given the opportunity to get good at is to enjoy life, circumstances, yourself as you evolve, right? Like your life doesn't happen, or it's not going to have this takeoff point the minute you hit X amount of dollars in your bank account, the minute you land that big gig, or the minute that you have a certain number of followers. That's not when your life starts. Your life is now. And I would hate, like in hindsight, like I think about things like this, but I would hate in hindsight to look back on my life and think, man, I really should have celebrated it more. I really should have showed up to the moment and enjoyed it more. I really should have given myself that just breath to enjoy and celebrate what was just accomplished there, what God did there, right? And so I think as achievers, and this isn't a bad thing. I don't think it's just like a high achieving individual. I think it's people that work hard. I think it's that people that wake up and they live 3 days in one, because they're just very intentional about how they show up, and they're visionary, and there's so much that they're called to do and that they're excited to do. And that literally fuels them from within. But I think there's also, if you're not matching that with enjoyment, that's when it can lead to burnout. That's when it can lead to addictions and needing some sort of release or relief, right? That's usually where addictions come from. They usually provide some sort of adrenaline hit, some sort of I feel good sort of relief, right? Some sort of significance, right? We just are able to just feel good. And sometimes when we're working, as much as that is often intentional, that's often inspired, that's often in sync with who you are and what you're called to do, and it's in alignment with what God is calling you to do, God doesn't want you to get out of sync with him to the degree that that's all you do. Right? We've heard that phrase, like all work and no play makes you dull, right? Well, it's similar, because you need to be able to be still and know. You need to be able to be still and see where God is in this. You need to be able to be still and discern how to move and how to navigate. And when we're go, we miss that sometimes. So the revelation, again, that your life is now, if you're visual, you might see this better. It's like an ocean wave, right? So like the waves come like this, right? They usually come in like threes. If you notice, there's a pattern to this, right? But they also, it's like breathe in, breathe out, right? Breathe. I guess that was out. Breathe out, breathe in, right? But it's a flow like this. So it's like, when you are being still, you're receiving, you're bringing in peace, you're bringing in focus, you're bringing in perspective, you're bringing in creativity, you're bringing in strength, you're bringing in enjoyment, contentment, just this ability just to be like, wow, like that's powerful. You're able to center yourself and get rooted again. And the breathing out is when you're performing, when you're creating, when you're in your call and you're influencing in that, when you're impacting, when you're sharing your voice, when you're writing content, when you're doing a video, whatever it happens to be, that's the out, that's the expression, right? But if it was only out, you would never get full again before you go back out. So my encouragement for those that have had these little dips of depression, particularly after a lot of doing, and not doing is a bad thing. Doing that is not to be busy or productive, but doing that is inspired action that requires all of you. It requires the fullness of who you are to show up and to create, especially if you're doing that consistently. If you are not matching that with the celebration, with the enjoyment, with the acknowledgement of how that actually fulfills you, about how you actually enjoy your life, you can get into these dips of depression and this burnout, and you can beat yourself up that way, because we're trained to work hard. We are trained to show up. We are trained to make goals, but it's more so about this ebb and flow. And when you can get that, you can understand that you here now is enough, and you can celebrate who you are even if you weren't to do any other thing. You can celebrate who you are, okay? Yes, there's going to be that hunger, right? To go out, to express, to be more, to do more, to become more. That's always going to be there. But it's got to be matched with the, I know who I am. I know what I'm called to. I'm enough just being who I am. I can sit and celebrate this moment. I can be fully here now. I don't have to go out and do something. I'm not performing for man, right? It's when you match it with that stillness that you can be way more powerful and effective when you go out and you express. Okay, so I hope this is a breakthrough, but your life is now. Enjoy it now. Enjoy all that you are, even on the journey of becoming, because you're always going to be becoming stronger and you're going to be moving from glory to glory. So glory in the process also. Choose what you focus on. It doesn't always have to be hard, push. In fact, a lot of the connections and some of the best moments happen when we're just in that flow, when we're just still, when we're letting God fight some of the battles that we're not meant to fight. Okay, so I hope this blesses you. I would love to hear feedback, but the main takeaway is enjoy your life, enjoy who you are, even on the journey of becoming, doing whatever that is for you. Okay, all right, guys, talk soon. Bye.